it's getting kind of late in the day, but I figured I'd try to finish up the garden tour. So this is the planter in my backyard behind my house, and in here I have planted some more of the Chinese cabbage. I wanted to see if it would just grow in dirt, and I figured it would look nice if it did actually grow up as a border. Next, I have a bunch of wine barrel planters, and in these I've planted various greens. So in this planter there is Swiss chard, rainbow chard, and there's some stray lettuce, which I think actually came from seed from the old lettuce, and a pruned back pepper plant. So this is an Anaheim pepper that was pruned back over the winter, and now it's waking up now that it's gotten warmer. This is some dinosaur kale and parsley. And then on the border, this is pineapple sage, and this is regular sage that you use for cooking. And tucked in here is variegated sage. This sage you can't really eat. It doesn't really taste like anything or smell like anything, but it's sage nonetheless. And I like the colors on the leaves, so that's why I got it. And here's another variety of variegated sage. And in this one barrel is more dinosaur kale and collards. Coming over here, I have a wild tomato. This is a San Marzano that I just let roam just to see what would happen. And I'll talk about this plant some other time in a separate video. And in here is another herb bed that I guess when I tried to seed it, it was too cold, so very few plants actually sprouted. And I'm not sure whether the two plants that sprouted are anything other than weeds. And in this wine barrel planter are some peas. Before I had in here habanero plants, but it was too cold for them and they died. Over here I have some container plants. So in this are some Caraflex cabbage, which are supposed to be a small variety of cabbage. And this planter is actually a bookcase that we transformed into a raised bed, and it contains again some more Swiss chard and some lettuce that I've started here. These big beauties here are actually romaine lettuce, and then some more Caraflex cabbage. Behind that planter is some garlic that I put into the ground just to see whether that would grow. And over here, some more basil that I'm trying to grow. I wanted to see whether it would do better in the shade, which kind of mixed results here. I also put in some seeds to see if maybe they would grow better from seed. And then over here is, I think this is a blueberry. I've forgotten, I didn't label it. And then a random pea plant's growing in there because peas used to go in this barrel, and I guess when the peas fell into the ground and seeded it. Over here on the side yard, this is what's this stuff called? Well, it's the plant you make Earl Grey tea from. Over here, it likes shaded, boggy areas, so this is the only place in the yard I can think of that met these conditions. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if it stays alive through the hot summer. And then over here is a Wando pea mess. I think there are 9 plants in here. This poor plant gets blown over by the wind, so it changes its configuration day to day, and for whatever reason it will not climb the pole. And this is my composter. It's just a barrel composter that you spin. And finally are my 3 tomato planters, and this is an ongoing project. We're finishing this off by adding some trellising on top. This will provide some shade as well as something for the grape plant over here to eventually climb upon and cover. The tomatoes in here right now are, I consider them temporary. They were planted over the winter and I wasn't sure whether they were going to grow or not. Here are some pea plants that were shown in there too to see how that would do. These tomato plants here, the tall ones, are left over from seed experiments. So basically the San Marzano plants that I bought, the seeds were not very reliable, And so 60% came out looking like San Marzano, and 40% came out looking like some other kind of tomato. So this is the replanting of the seeds that came out of some other kind of tomato. And it seems that these have settled on some sort of grape tomato. I'm not sure. But I haven't got one that's come to ripen yet, because the ones that were ripened here before got eaten by raccoons. So there's this one, and then there are some flowers. So we'll see if these flowers actually take and produce fruit, and hopefully we'll get to taste what comes off these plants. And again, another one of these San Marzanos. This was planted from a San Marzano variant that actually turned out a dark plum tomato. But I don't know if this is going to produce dark plum tomatoes as well. And the same with the other plants. They came from seeds of a dark plum tomato. So that concludes the garden tour. I guess I will update things as new plants go in and out, and as plants grow up, so we can see how the garden grows and what works and what doesn't work here in Zone 10 in Southern California.